Luckily, luckily, I hadn't gone over the into the danger zone real bad with blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, but I was just beyond the from danger zone to real danger zone. And but what was worse for me was I was unable to do the things that I had loved to do most of my life. Um, I think it's important when you meet people and you learn about them. If the the trip into obesity is different for everybody. Some people are born heavy basically and fight being overweight their entire childhood into adulthood, having never known what it was like to not be obese. I was the opposite. I was tall and trim most of my childhood, played every sport, baseball, football, tennis, ran, did it, and then I studied dance and gymnastics also. It wasn't until I was in my 20s that, late 20s really, um, that I got married, had children, started a career that involved travel. I was on the road 200 days a year. And I went from about 180 pounds to 400 pounds in a period of probably 20 years. It just,
Mm.
a steady increase over that time. And I got to the point where my lifestyle, my life, the quality of my life, just what I wasn't satisfied. I was middle-aged, overweight, slightly depressed, unmotivated man, um, and got to the point where what you would call with almost any other um, kind of problem like gambling or alcoholism, my rock bottom when I couldn't go on anymore.
So, Bill, was there any one specific thing that really just prompted you to say, this is it?
You know, I can't say there was one thing, but I do have three or four things.
Okay.
Uh, the seatbelt extender on the airplane.
Mm.
You know, the flight attendant making the announcement. I was hoping it would be on the down low, right? No, get on that mic. I have a man in seat 22A. Needs a seatbelt extender.
Yeah.
Um, Going to New York City with friends of ours to see a play at the Rogers Theater and got to my seat and I couldn't fit into it. I had to stand in the wings
Mm.
for the entire
Mm.
play. Um, a business dinner that anytime I had to be at a business dinner, I like to be the one to make the reservation so I could ask for a table. I didn't make this one, and of course, I showed up late and everybody was in a booth and I couldn't fit. So
Mhm.
everything had to be picked up and moved to a table.
Mm.
That was obviously very embarrassing. So there was a bunch of those, but there was a moment that it really became clear in my mind, and that was in 2009. We were in Santa Monica visiting Colleen's sister, walking the pier, and I bumped up to a little girl, must have been, less than 2 years old, walking along. And Colleen took a picture of it. And it's me bending over and we're like touching fingers. And I thought nothing of it. The next day, Colleen showed me that picture. And when I saw it, the juxtaposition of this massive human being standing right next to this tiny little girl, it just struck me that I don't know how a human being that big can function. And it all came crashing down on me at that point. So that was the moment that, in my mind, I said, okay, your history, Bill, of considering like anytime I would get a few pounds overweight or whatnot, I would do a quick fix. Just
Mhm.
wear the rubber suit, don't eat much, sweat it out.
Right.
This is
Right.
what I learned in football and in wrestling. And it always worked.
Mhm.
But you get to a certain weight, certain age, certain body adjustment, that doesn't work anymore. And it was obvious that a quick fix at 400 pounds isn't what you're looking for.
Right.
So I hit that realization in 2009, January. I didn't have surgery till October of 2010, 18 months later. I used that time to do a lot of study on what I could do, what might be the best course for me. It wasn't going to be surgery right off the bat. That was not my sister kind of recommended I look at it, which I did. But I'm a nerd. I'm a numbers nerd. I put together a little chart of the way you take in calories and the way you burn off calories, and kind of analyzed 5 different calorie in, how much I eat, when I eat, why I eat, how I eat, what I eat, and kind of looked to see where my problem was, to find out if, because I hear a lot of people talk about food addiction, and I did not feel like I had a food addiction. Now, silly thing to say from a guy who could eat 6 Big Macs, but it wasn't a food addiction as much as to me, it was just like an eating addiction, or actually the word addiction didn't. And then if I thought that was my problem, I would probably have put analysis, some sort of therapy, that type of thing at the head of the list. But when I analyzed it, it looked like I ate too much. I had no off switch.
Mm.
I had, in that 18 months, I had taken a class at the hospital on diet and nutrition. I had taken a human behavioral studies class at the community college, and did a lot of study online, and had really come to the conclusion that from a calorie in perspective, I had no off switch. Just wasn't born with that capability, didn't develop it, lost it, whatever. On the calorie burn side, because I used to be a athlete, dancer, that I knew how to work out. I knew what to do. I had a problem with motivation, which was this kind of the second thing, only because I was heavy. Otherwise, most of my life, I kind of liked working out. I liked running. I liked dancing. I liked physical activity, sports. So, although my size kind of made it a problem, mentally I was motivated to do something. But the comorbidities of swollen legs, just the weight itself, bad knees, all that made exercise tough to do.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I kind of viewed half of my calorie intake problem as just being that I ate too much. So the idea of some sort of a restriction made sense to me.
Right.
And I ended up with the Roux-en-Y, which is my stomach is now that big, and they rewire the intestine from your old stomach so that that's still in me, but food can't get in it. And I used that, and from the way I viewed it was, I was acquiring a tool that I could use, because in my behavioral studies classes, and even in my own, it was obvious to me that a quick fix doesn't fix anything, that I had to make a lifestyle change, that the life I was experiencing, which wasn't making me happy, was the direct result of the lifestyle I was living, which was the direct result of the actions I was taking, either drummed up in my head or as a reaction to things that come into me every day. So I sat down and kind of designed a plan for myself, and it involved, I called it living by design and election. I designed how I wanted to move, how I wanted to eat, and then I elected to follow that plan. And it would involve the tool of gastric bypass, but that was going to be a tool to help me overcome the burden of transitioning my lifestyle and helping me do it. It took me 30 years to gain the weight. I didn't want to take 30 years to lose it.
Right.
So, yeah, when people ask me about losing weight by weight loss surgery, I always tell them, you're not going to lose any weight by weight loss surgery. Yeah, you'll lose some the first year, blah, blah, blah. But unless you change your lifestyle and live the actions that produce the results, that deliver the lifestyle that ends up with the body you want, it's not going to, you're just going to be an unhappy, middle-aged, slightly overweight person with a smaller stomach. It's not the solution.
That's what I figured you were going to touch on this, but that's my curiosity. Being in the fitness industry, being a fitness instructor, being a personal trainer, I run into people who have had gastric bypass or whatever surgical, not always gastric bypass, but different ones. And they have said to me, it failed me. You know, I did this. And so what makes you different? That's what I think will be so intriguing for people to hear is you've had this done. So many other people have had it done and have not blossomed from it or achieved what they've wanted to achieve. What makes you different?
I think the looking at it as specifically as a tool, and knowing that I had to make a lifestyle change. I mean, I've met people that have had surgery or going have it scheduled, and talking to them, asked them, what is it that you expect out of this? One woman told me, I'll finally stop craving sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And, I had to break the news to her that not a bit.
They're not getting rid of your tongue.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right.
You can't solve a downstream problem, upstream problem downstream. It has to come from up here. Your desire for sugar is up here. It's not going to be solved by doing something down here. I've met people who say, I want to have surgery because I hate to work out. And while you may lose weight, my question is, why do you want to lose weight?
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, it's because of things they believe they can then do that they can't do now. So my question is, you can do it 10 times better even yet with a better body.
Yeah.
If you have a goal of going up to the top of the mountain, you don't stop halfway up. There's nothing wrong with climbing up a mountain, but the reward comes at the top, so having weight loss surgery or doing anything to try to modify your lifestyle to achieve a different result, only to live the life you've been living all along. Again, the best weight you can weigh is the one that makes you happy and you can sustain with a very happy life.
Yeah.
And in fact, that's the name of one of my favorite books by Dr. Sharma, Best Weight. That's how he defines it. And that's what I find is, for me, I weigh 170. I could go down to 160. I don't want to. I don't feel good there. I don't like it. I feel weaker. There's no benefit for me. I could put on 20 pounds of muscle mass probably and weigh 190 and have a bigger chest and shoulders. But I do a lot of weightlifting. I'm happy anyway. And my life wouldn't be better because I have those 20 pounds of muscle on them. I mean, you might say, oh, but Bill, you'd be stronger. I know, but what I give up to get it isn't worth it. I'm happy. I'm at my best weight right now.
Right.
And I think those kind of mental things are what aren't in people's head when they go into it. I waited 18 months I didn't wait. That's the process. That's how long the process took to get me to where I was ready to have surgery. I think I've said it before that, and sometimes I get at odds with some folks in the obesity support world when I say this, but I was the cause of my obesity. I mean, you want to call it a disease, and I accept that disease,
Mm-hmm.
no problem. But I was the cause of that. The good news is I can be the solution for it.
Right.
And the people who don't want to accept the cause, therefore cut themselves off to where their solution is. That's the problem of if you don't own it, you can't use it. And it's
Right.
just that simple. And it makes me sad because then I see people who have surgery and they say, "Well, you said it failed me." Well, people fail the process and the tool all the time. Rarely the reverse. In fact, I can't think of a case where the tool failed the user. So
Yeah.
it's ownership. That's it comes down to that. Now I get in trouble sometimes because there's a lot of people that are obese who want to put the ownership for that some somewhere else. But the beauty of owning it is you own the solution also, and nobody can take that away from you. You also, when you own the solution, while having a support structure, while having a team, all of that is wonderful. It's awesome. It helps. It's not an absolute. I had my surgery up in Michigan. I live in Ohio. I didn't join a support group right off the bat. It was 5 years before I was in a support group.
Mm.
And a lot of people say, well, how did you survive without a support group? I often find that these support groups, they put people in them that are all recent recent surgeries. And what you end up with is a bunch of people all at the same status, going through the same things with no real advice, only
Mm.
the ability to share.
Yeah.
My advice to the industry, to bariatric programs, is it's great to have those um, support groups, but the best thing you can do is set up a buddy system. Every new op should have a 2 year, a 5 year, and a 10 year post
Yeah.
op as their spirit guide.
Yeah.
I did that by accident. I just kind of lucked into that. And so I didn't have my support group for at all in the beginning, but I had a 2 year, a 5 year, and a 10 year post op that could tell me when I'd say, "Hey, I'm experiencing this. What do I'm kind of nervous." They'd either say, "Well, good, do this, do that," or
Right.
"Nah, don't worry about that. That comes, it goes. It's nothing." Those three people were, along with the attitude I talked about, were probably as key as anything to getting me to the 5 year mark where I was able to live and operate without needing to rely on my tool.
Right. Well, it's like a mentor system, just like, just like what a personal trainer is, or just like what a fitness instructor is, or a nutritionist. It's someone that you can talk to that has
Absolutely.
done and been, and yeah. So,
And
so,
the
well, go ahead.
it also helps the 10 year, 5 year, and 2 year post op because I'm 14 years now. So I have many people that I counsel along the way.
Right.
And every time I forget what it's like to be 2 years out, or
Yeah.
and then it'll remind me of something or a trick I used to do or whatever. But it's a neat Jedi mind trick when you're helping somebody, even if it's for something you went through 10 years ago, you're helping yourself too.
Sure. Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I even find that with fitness too, and personal training too. Yeah, that's interesting. So tell us what after your surgery and into now, like what is a typical week look like for you?
Well, I I'm a person that I like to eat several small meals during the day. My stomach is only so big, so it can only hold so much, and I never really tested it. As you learn nutrition, you learn that you're feeding yourself so you can do what you want to do, not to find out how much your stomach can hold.
Hmm.
And even with the stomach only that big, I've I rarely find out how much I can hold because I eat what I need and then I move on. Um, so eating is not a difficult thing for me because I don't need a lot at any one time. And if I sit down and eat 20 grams of protein, great. If it's not there then and I'm doing something else, then next 2 hours later it'll be the 20 grams of protein. But I just make sure to eat it during kind of spread out during the day and um, protein first, that type of thing. I'm always drinking water or some, tea or something.
Hmm.
Um, but exercise is, I like to, when I'm over in Korea, where I'm often 4 or 5 months out of the year with my son, I work out at midnight there, midnight till 2 in the morning.
Oh,
It's
geez.
just my routine, my habit. Here at home, I have a gym or a equipment down in my basement. I like to go down there about 9 o'clock, 8, 9 o'clock, and um, Colleen watches a TV show or something. I go downstairs and I like to do that. Um, so at this point, I'm I'm sort of I'm so used to putting those things into my day and into my routine that a lot of it's just individual. I don't back in the beginning, 2014, 15, when we met, the rec center was, I was there 4 days a week
Hmm.
because, you know, getting the habit, getting used to showing up every day, I needed to know that Robin's waiting for me, Lynn's waiting for me,
Yep.
that,
Yep.
or just I met so many people in the class that they were waiting for me,
Right.
and Um, but once that stuff becomes second nature, and as things moved on, and my favorite teachers went on to other things, um, I had learned to kind of incorporate that stuff into my life myself. But I think that's all because of understanding that it's a lifestyle. Um, I like the results that show when my lifestyle leads based on the actions I take, which are from the actions I desire or the reactions to things that go through a set of values. And I mean, real key to my changes were to come up with some values that I would use to run through most of the barriers or most of the problems that pop up during the course of a day. You know, you would say it's just in the fitness industry, but in the weight loss surgery world, they're real keen on always saying that this is a lifelong transition you're in,
Hmm.
and it is, but everything we're doing is lifelong.
Sure.
uh, I think it's important to realize that it's also life wide, meaning that it's not just this element with my family or this element at work or this element when I'm at the gym. I have to live a lifestyle that, and every action of mine, whether it's at 2 in the morning or at work or at play or with my family or anywhere I am, anything I'm doing. And I have to run them through the same values so I can produce the same kind of results that I want in the end. And so I think that concept of life wide is where a lot of people, they'll, well, I worked out today, but I didn't eat too good. or I ate well,
Yeah.
but I didn't get my workout in. And that's just those two things. That's just
Mhm.
really your body. One of the things that I think, and this goes back to a previous question you asked, people view the whole journey as a body only experience, meaning weight or
Right.
health or fitness.
Right.
But it's a mental and it's a spiritual journey also. Um, you're only going to be as good, this is my belief. You're only going to be as good as the weakest of those three elements of your being. If your mind is weak and your spirit and body are strong, then you are as strong as your mind. That you want to get stronger, you have to work on all three of those elements. And so
Hmm.
I see people that say, and what really frustrates me are the surgeons that say, you don't have to exercise. It's not important after weight loss surgery. I'm like,
Wow.
maybe not for losing weight by whatever you're defining it as, but to live, and I mean
Yeah.
live with a capital L, to live your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to not have a body movement. I mean, it's you wonder why people say they hate exercise but they're having difficulty losing weight because they're pitting their mind and their body against each other. And certainly there's spirits out there going, oh no, what's going on?
Right.
You got to link them all together. And so if all you can do is stretch and do some balance work, do it. And I liked a lot of the cardio stuff at first, but now I love lifting weights. I mean, I love
And that's
lifting
good.
weights.
And that's a good thing. Kim and I preach about that too. So,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
But balance,
So,
I built myself a balance beam for my basement. It's three
oh,
inches off
geez.
the ground, but just walking and balancing. And,
Yeah.
I'm 68 years old. Balance is
Yeah.
starting to become, and I know everybody, I mean,
Right.
I can't go to a doctor appointment and they don't go, how's your balance?
Yeah.
Right.
I know, right? And it's true though. We start losing all that stuff. So tell, like, unless you want to hit something else, you wrote a book, and can you tell everyone like what this book is about? And then, like, I want you to tell them, can you link it, if someone's interested in it, in the bottom of the post that comes up? It'll probably come up on your page because I'll tag you to this Zoom too. So
Yeah, I wrote a book. It's called Simple, Not Easy, Escaping the Prison of Obesity. And I think I started writing it in 2015. So it's been a 9-year process. It's on Amazon. If you just go to Amazon and search Simple, Not Easy, Escaping the Prison of Obesity, Bill Streetman, it'll pop up.
okay. Okay.
Paperback, Kindle. It's about my journey, but it's got a lot of the stories of things that I've done since I lost weight because my motto is that as my body shrank, my life grew. And I've been trying to find out what can I do now that I wanted to do for years but wasn't able to do because of obesity and
Yeah.
the bike rides and mountain climbing and things like that are all part of it. Um, I forgot what your question was.
Well, live life with an L. No, just the
Yeah.
book. Like, what was why
Oh,
did
the
you do
book.
it? And that's why. So you said
Every
that's why. Yeah.
everybody says to me, "You never promote your book." I forget. Sorry.
That's all right.
I love the title.
So yeah, I do too. So if you could leave people that are listening to this, like, one huge takeaway, what is it? And like, when you give your speeches at the colleges and different places, what is the one thing that you're praying that people take away from your speeches and your talks and your book? What would be the one thing?
I think that basically the secret to living life is self actualization. So it's whatever you have to do to get people's mind in a place where they understand that they're empowered, that they have the power to do those kind of things. And like for me, when I came up with my 4 values that I would use for weight loss, I thought about things I'd done in life that I succeeded at, but more importantly, things I failed at. I took my work life, project management, about a dozen projects that just I failed, didn't work, bad news. Listed honest reflection. Why? 4 things came up on all of those failures. Well, I think that that's probably a good clue that these things are going to be reoccurring problems in any project I start.
Mhm.
So I don't even really have to understand how to lose weight. I just know that, and in my case, they were things like having multiple priorities, multiple first priorities, being dishonest. And that doesn't mean lying to people. It just means, like that old FedEx commercial. I can get it there Friday. How am I going to get it there Friday?
Yeah.
That kind of thing,
Things you're telling yourself. Things
Right.
you're telling
Exactly.
yourself.
Exactly. I not having proper planning. And then personal sabotage of things. Those were the 4 things. So for me, when I sat down, came up with a mission, a vision, and a set of values, my mission was that I wanted to be able to, I made vision boards for it. I should have had those so I could show them to you.
Oh, that's
But
awesome.
I made vision boards, and let me see about one thing here. I think I can, there's one of them.
Oh, okay. Whoa,
Oh, look at you up there in the corner. Woo.
is that you?
But see, I wanted to, these were personal things. I wanted to look better naked.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't we
That's
all?
a good thing to put on that vision board.
Hey, they were for me, right? They were for me to be
That's right.
motivated.
That's right. No, that's
And
good.
Love it.
I had them from 4 different aspects of my life.
Nice.
I posted them around. Anyway, each one of them had visions that what it would mean, like look, wear a swimsuit on the beach, not a t-shirt and shorts, that kind of thing.
Right.
But my mission was I said, I got a big goal. And so I said, there's 7 billion people on Earth, 5 oceans and 7 continents. I want to walk on and swim in every one of them.
Oh,
That's awesome.
love that.
And that was that's the big statement. So when you think of that, that's your mission. And my vision was to be able to do it on a beach in Thailand, looking good in a bathing suit. It's hard to think small about your weight loss or your process when you have big goals like that out there.
Right.
And then as each one of them kind of ticks off, the thought of living in the past, living with whatever, all the issues that brought you down. No, I have no, people say to me, some people think you took the easy way out. I always say I did. I took the easiest way I could find to do the hardest thing anybody's ever tried to do,
Yeah.
which is change their lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I ride my bike across the country, like if I ride from here to Colorado, I don't ride by way in New Jersey. That would be the hard way.
Yeah.
I take the easiest way I can find.
I think I would too. That's a long way.
Yeah.
And when I show up in Colorado, if anybody walks up to me and says, "Oh, you took a direct route, you took the easy way," I'm going to say, "Thanks." Walk right around them and go celebrate my victory.
Yes, for sure.
I don't think there's anything easy about what you've done when you think of it, but I really appreciate. May I ask you a couple questions, Bill?
Yes.
One, I loved what you talked about, the kind of the trilogy about the mind, body, and spirit, about one being whatever the weakest one is, like, kind of determines where you are. But when you started your journey in January, and then 18 months later you had the surgery, with all your studying and doing deep dive into nutrition and behavior modification, did you lose weight in that time at all?
No,
Okay.
not really. The last 2 or 3 months I did lose a little.
Okay.
And that's where I think that the benefits of surgery, or even some of these new weight loss drugs, can be found if they're used as a bridge to help you get over that hump or
Right.
deal. I mean, it's like doing Ninja Warrior, that warped wall at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But once you're going up that wall,
Mhm.
then So yeah, that's how I look at it.
I was curious about that. And then I loved what you said about living by design and election, because you can design your plan like you did, and then you've got to take action. That's the thing. But you designed it for you, which I love, that you were able to figure out, okay, what can I do? And
I think that outline anybody could use for to come up with their own plan. It would be the same process, but they'd come up with a totally different plan.
mhm,
If they found that they were eating as a way of dealing with trauma they had from a unresolved issue when they were a child,
mhm,
well, that's awesome. That's great news. There's a real good way to go deal with that with therapy and counseling. Now, it may involve other things after you've dealt with that, but if that's real clear, that's your problem, great. And that's why I think a lot of these things take time. I mean, I had to tell myself, Bill, you took 30 years to get here. You
Yeah.
can't do it in a week.
right.
That was your old thinking. Your new thinking is, nope, you have the rest of your life.
Yeah. I love also what you said of, as your body shrank, your life grew, because that's so true, because you're able to do so many more things than you couldn't do before, with the flying, with the seats and all that stuff. It's like, and just physically able to bike, from here to Colorado, which is crazy.
Yeah. Right.
It's like
Taking
Forrest
that
Gump,
easy
like,
way. I can't believe you took the easy way.
Yeah, exactly.
some easy way. No,
Yeah.
but no, I appreciate you sharing. I feel like it's definitely a journey for everyone who's, been obese or struggling now, and it's finding the right thing for them. And doing that trifecta of the mind, body, spirit is kind of a huge assessment, and taking ownership, like you said too. I think you gave a lot of good takeaways. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, has there ever been any time during there that you became discouraged, like really discouraged? Because I know that a lot of times that's what happens to people that I've talked to. They're like, I tried it, and then after whatever amount of time, I just gave up because I couldn't. Did you ever feel like that?
Aside from the very first week, which is everybody hates the first week is always bad.
Okay.
And that's another good reason to have a 2-year, 5-year, or a 10-year grow out there, because at the third day after, I was crying on the couch, and I called Gene, who is my 5-year buddy, and I got his voicemail. I said, Gene, I can't do this. I'm in pain. I'm sad. I made a mistake. I don't know what to do. He called me back, but I didn't answer or something. He left me a voicemail. He said, Bill, I want you to take the phone and walk over to your bathroom, stand in front of the mirror, look at yourself, and repeat these words. Bill, I did this for you because you're worth it. Just tell yourself that. And I did that. And of course, I broke down in tears again and all that. But I had the resolve of, I did it for me because I'm worth it.
Right.
And the very next day, the sun came up, the flowers came out. It was a beautiful day. And from that moment on, it's been great. Well, yeah, there's been some times when in the very beginning, I might have tested my stomach, not on purpose, but just didn't know where full was,
Mm.
or that my stomach hadn't recovered yet enough. For about a year, I couldn't eat any tomatoes.
Mm.
But I would say the other frustration comes if you stall or gain a little bit of weight back.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had too many of those problems, but there was a period of time, about 2020, I guess, I gained about 30 pounds back. And, you see the scale come down, 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 or the line on the scale come down, and then it goes back up. And you get frustrated by that back up part.
Mm.
But it occurred to me that I had been saying that in a period of a year, whatever it was, 20 months, I'd lost 130 pounds, whatever it was. But then I gained 30 back. And the problem most people have is they focus on the 30 and the 1 month instead of the fact that I've lost 100 pounds over the last 13 months, which if I would have only lost, I shouldn't say only, but if the total was 30 over 13 months, I'd have been ecstatic. I'd have been happy. But here I am mad at myself and discouraged because it happened to be a little bit of a check mark.
Yeah.
Again, mentally adjusting
Yeah.
and figuring out a way to own the problem. And when people say, what do you do when you gain weight? Well, what did you do to lose it? Just keep doing it. There's no mystery here. It's the question is, what did you do to regain some? Because you obviously changed something. But if you don't panic and you take the broadest perspective possible and you realize, hey, I've lost 100 pounds. That's awesome. And now I'm going to keep going. I'll lose 100 more. And in the end, if there was a little bump in the middle, no one's going to care.
Right.
It's all mental. It's all mental.
Well, that takes you back to your statement, you have the power. And that's when you said that, I'm like, that's right. You do. We all have the power. And I think sometimes we what's the word I want to say? We're not confident in ourselves, and we underestimate what we can actually accomplish. That's what I want to say.
What's that Marianne Williamson quote? That we're not afraid of our limitations. We're afraid of our potential.
Right.
No, I just goofed it up, but that's basically.
No, well, I get you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think to underscore is that this was a tool for you, and plus you implemented other healthy things like working out, prioritizing protein. I love that you're doing that. I think that's key because you're trying to build muscle or keep your muscle that you have, which is super important as we get older. And it's a lot of things. It's the mental as well. And, it's not just one thing. Anytime we're trying to change our health, it's several things, and you got to find what works for you. And I feel like we need to underline that it's many things. It's not just, magic bullet.
Yeah.
I have 3 things that I tell everybody: do yoga, get massage, study Tai Chi. Those 3 things are all about the mind-body connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you can master your body doing Tai Chi, you can master your body eating at a wedding reception.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you understand the balance that massage can deliver as far as body-mind connection, then that can carry on in your regular life. I mean, non-massage moments. And like I said, the yoga is just really, Tai Chi is just yoga standing up
Yeah.
You know, it's so yeah, those kind of things, I think, and grab a set of weights, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely grab the weights, right, Kim?
Absolutely. Yeah, grab those weights.
Well, I feel like we could just go on and on and
I know.
on, but I'm going
This
to
is
have
a
to
lot.
cut us off because I have dinner reservations tonight.
Oh.
um, anyway, Bill, I hope that we hit and ask questions on everything that we want to get out there, and maybe we'll have you another time come on and
Sure.
talk with us again.
I'd love to.
And
If
we'll put
people
your
have
book
questions,
link.
yeah, we'll put that in the link. And then also, if people have questions, please put them in
Mhm.
the comments here. I know Bill is happy to answer any
Yep,
questions
absolutely.
for
Anytime.
sure. So, all right, guys, until next week,
Yeah,
we'll
thank
see
you.
you. And Bill, thank you so much.
Thank you
We've loved having you
very
on
much.
here with
I
us.
appreciate what you do. Thank you.
Okay.